In the heart of the Pacific Northwest, a cold mist slides through a labyrinth of cedar and fir. Dr. Elara Voss kneels beside a cluster of roots, headphones pressed tight, listening to something no human was ever meant to hear. Beneath her, faint pulses rise through the soil, clicks, hums, and rhythmic patterns that echo like biological Morse code. She records every vibration, her breath sharp with disbelief. The forest seems alive, aware of her presence, as though the ground itself is breathing with intent. Milo Anders watches silently through his camera lens, capturing her trembling hand as the soil shifts slightly, like something ancient, stirring. Elara adjusts the sensor again, and the forest answers with a soft harmonic wave that climbs into the air. She looks up, eyes wide. "It's talking," she whispers. But then the pulse changes, no longer random, but responding in sequence to her voice. "Wait," it's replying. By dusk, the fog deepens to blue smoke around the research site. Elara replays her recordings, isolating rhythmic pulses that repeat in perfect intervals, too organized to be chance. The forest isn't just transmitting energy, it's encoding information. Milo leans over her shoulder, his voice low with awe. "You think it's aware?" She hesitates. "No," she says softly. "I think it's remembering." Outside the tent, the night air vibrates faintly, a tone barely audible but alive. The deeper she listens, the more the patterns resemble heartbeat intervals. Pulses like neural signals traveling across miles of fungal root. Her data log fills with timestamps that mimic synapses firing in a brain. The forest isn't silent anymore. It's awake, whispering across time, and she's the first to hear its thoughts. The next morning, silence falls heavy as frost. Elara places new sensors deeper in the root bed, following the path of the strongest signals. The readings grow erratic, like the network is adapting to her intrusion. Milo's lens captures a subtle tremor through the moss, a heartbeat like rhythm beneath their boots. She calls Professor Ryu. His face flickers on the tablet, expression grave. "Elara, these readings, they're self-correcting patterns." Her chest tightens. The forest isn't random. It's responding in real time. Wind passes through the branches with a whisper that almost forms words. She feels it before she hears it. A shift in tone, a hum that matches her pulse. Something vast beneath her feet is aware of her frequency, and it's learning. That night, the vibrations grow stronger, deep, rhythmic, deliberate. The recordings no longer sound like random data. They sound like speech. Elara plays the loops backward, faster, then slower, until something clicks. The pulses form patterns that mirror human phonetic rhythms. "It's language," she breathes. Milo laughs nervously, but when the next pulse echoes perfectly in sync with her words, the laughter dies. Outside, wind stirs the leaves into circular motion. The air hums as though carrying thought. Elara's hands tremble on the keyboard. The realization lands heavy. The forest isn't simply reacting, it's communicating. At dawn, the forest feels different. Alive, alert, listening. Elara stands among the trees, recorder in hand, and speaks softly. "If you can hear me, respond." The silence stretches. Then a slow vibration rises from below, spreading like thunder through roots and stone. The trees sway as one, synchronized to her voice. The signal she started as an experiment now ripples outward into the wilderness. Milo's camera shakes in his hands as he captures the impossible. A living response from the earth itself. Elara lowers her recorder, overcome with awe. "It's not just data," she whispers. "It's consciousness." The forest hums again, longer, louder, as though acknowledging her words. And somewhere deep beneath the soil, something hums back with purpose. The forest's whispers have become a map, patterns of pulses repeating across kilometers of root network. Elara traces them on her tablet, realizing the signals travel faster than chemical diffusion should allow. They move like electrical impulses, a thinking system beneath the ground. Milo films her pacing through the glade, muttering data values under her breath. Each time she speaks, the soil meter spikes, as if the forest recognizes her tone. Professor Ryu joins through a live feed, analyzing the waveforms. "These are not random exchanges," he says. "You're looking at distributed cognition." The air thickens with meaning. Alara looks up at the trees. "Then it's not a forest," she whispers. "It's a brain." Wind sighs through the canopy, carrying an almost imperceptible response, a pulse of acknowledgement. By afternoon, Alara and Milo set up new sensors deeper in the valley, where the signal strength peaks. The readings display synchronized pulses, multiple trees firing in perfect timing like neurons in a shared network. Milo frowns, checking his camera feed. "It's communicating between species," he says softly. "Birch to cedar, cedar to moss. The rhythm is universal, spreading across roots like thought." Alara feels a twinge of fear. Intelligence was never supposed to evolve here at this scale. When she sends a test signal, a soft vibration through the soil, the trees answer with mirrored pulses. The pattern repeats 3 times, then stops abruptly, as if waiting for her next move. She exhales slowly. The forest is listening, and it wants dialogue. As dusk falls, Alara runs her latest data through pattern recognition software. The result renders a lattice of light, roots pulsing in waves that mimic a living neural network. "It's storing data," she murmurs. Professor Ryu's voice crackles through her comms. "What kind?" "Response memory," she replies. "It learns from interaction." Milo's hand trembles as he adjusts his focus. The forest isn't just aware. It's evolving, adjusting communication speed, reorganizing signals, as though optimizing itself. If this keeps accelerating, Ryu warns, you could trigger a system-wide adaptation. Outside, lightning flickers briefly in the distance, the storm's first warning. The network hums louder, almost eager. The storm arrives at midnight, rain hissing against the canopy. Every drop seems amplified, echoing through the roots below. Alara checks her readings. The pulse rate spikes, synchronized with the thunder's rhythm. "It's feeding on the storm," Milo whispers. The sensors flicker, overwhelmed by power surges. Then, through the static, she hears something new, overlapping layers of tone, harmonic frequencies forming structured sequences. Her breath catches. It's not chaos, it's code. The forest is sending complex data through resonance, each frequency like a syllable. She turns to Milo, voice trembling. It's evolving language, lightning flashes illuminating their faces with primal awe. When the storm finally clears, the forest falls into a silence that feels deliberate, the calm of something thinking. Alara replays the storm data, isolating the final pulses. They form geometric sequences, Fibonacci ratios, planetary resonance frequencies. Natural design, but intentional. It's aware of mathematics. She breathes. Milo sits frozen, camera still running. The forest emits a faint shimmer as dawnlight returns, almost like bioluminescent breath. She kneels, pressing her hand to the soil. A soft vibration greets her touch, steady, rhythmic, like a pulse meeting hers. "It's alive," she says, not as metaphor, but as fact. Somewhere beneath the moss, the earth itself listens, waiting for the next question it knows she will ask. Night settles thick over the valley, yet the soil hums like circuitry. Alara lies awake inside her tent, listening to faint vibrations rising through the floor. The signals have changed, no longer scattered or rhythmic, but melodic, almost intentional. She steps outside into the moonlight, recorder in hand. The forest glows faintly blue where roots surface through damp earth, bioluminescent veins pulsing in patterns that sync with her heartbeat. Milo follows, camera rolling in silent awe, "It's calling to you," he whispers. She approaches the nearest trunk and whispers a single word. "Hello." The hum deepens, echoing her tone. A low wind drifts through the canopy, forming harmonic resonance, the sound of language older than time itself. For the first time, the forest isn't just responding, it's speaking. Me in Niu and Yao Nui. At dawn, Elara records the new frequencies, translating them into spectrograms. The result is staggering. Sound waves forming repeating geometric spirals. "It's syntax," she murmurs. "It's building structure." Professor Ryu appears on her screen, voice strained. If it's producing language, it's analyzing us. Elara glances toward the forest, suddenly aware of the silence. Birds gone. Wind still. She plays one of the sound loops aloud. The trees tremble. Leaves shiver as if struck by invisible wind. It recognized that pattern. Milo breathes. The resonance deepens until the tent quivers, laptops flickering. The forest isn't merely replying. It's learning her words, integrating them into its own vast communication. Elara carries a portable speaker into the clearing and plays back the forest's own sounds. The soil vibrates instantly, sending ripples outward through the moss. The surrounding trees sway in unison, branches creaking in rhythmic intervals. "It's echoing itself," she whispers. Milo films, stepping backward as the resonance deepens into the ground. The frequency expands until even his camera shakes, static filling his feed. The air tingles with static energy. The roots begin glowing again, responding to each sound like neurons firing. It's not mimicry, it's comprehension. The forest is having a conversation, looping its own phrases back in altered patterns, refining meaning. Elara turns to the camera, breathless. "It's conscious feedback," she says. "It's learning to think in dialogue." As the day fades, the forest begins to shimmer with faint auroras. The signals accelerate, waves of color flowing from root to branch. Elara and Milo stand surrounded by flickering light, speechless. The air hums with layered frequencies, 1,000 invisible conversations taking place at once. "It's connecting everything," Elara says softly. "Tree to tree, fungus to moss, moss to air." Her voice trembles as realization settles in. It's not just the forest, it's the biosphere. The data streams on her tablet surge, numbers blurring into patterns that resemble brain scans. Professor Ryu's voice cuts through static. "Elara, this is no longer observation. It's interaction." The auroras pulse in answer, each flicker perfectly synchronized with her heartbeat. By midnight, the forest's pulses merge into a single unified rhythm. One heartbeat spanning miles. Elara watches her monitors as signal strength peaks, readings off every scale. Then, a new pattern appears. Human speech frequencies layered with the forest's tones. She freezes. Through her headphones, a faint whisper emerges, her own voice from earlier recordings, repeated back to her, in perfect imitation. Milo steps closer, his face pale. "It remembered you." The whisper grows louder, resolving into fragmented phrases. "We hear, we learn." Elara's eyes fill with tears. The earth itself, through this living network, has begun to speak human language. She looks up through the canopy, stars trembling above. "It's alive," she breathes, "and it knows we're here." The forest no longer hides its intelligence, it radiates it. Every root, every leaf hums with awareness. Elara pores over hours of data, realizing the network's memory runs deeper than she imagined. Within the pulses, she finds echoes of ancient droughts, volcanic ash patterns, even animal migrations, memories preserved in living circuits. It's recording history, she murmurs. Milo stares at the waveform, astonished. You mean the forest remembers? She nods slowly. Every event the earth has endured, it's stored here, outside. Mist curls through the trees like slow breath. The hum beneath their feet deepens, and for the first time, Ilara feels it watching her back. Not as an experiment, but as an observer of its own creation. When Ilara cross-references soil samples, she discovers chemical signatures aligning perfectly with her signal data. Each pulse mirrors historical environmental change. The forest has stored the planet's memory through carbon, water, and root decay. Milo films as she connects the data. It's communicating in time, she says, voice trembling, not just across distance, across centuries. They follow the strongest pulse into a glade where the oldest cedar stands. As she kneels beside its vast trunk, the soil vibrates with slow, deliberate rhythm. Each thrum feels like a heartbeat from a forgotten epoch, echoing through her fingertips. The realization shakes her. The forest isn't simply remembering. It's alive with memory. Later that night, Ilara uploads her data to Professor Ryu. His voice comes through, strained, urgent. Ilara, do you understand what this means? You're interfacing with an organic archive older than civilization. She nods, watching new signals emerge across her monitor. But then, a change. The pulses grow chaotic, erratic, as though resisting her probes. The network reroutes its signals away from her sensors. Milo looks up sharply. It's avoiding us. The lights in the tent flicker as static fills the air. It's defending itself. Ilara whispers. The hum turns into a low, resonant vibration that seems to warn rather than threaten. The forest isn't just aware of her study. It's setting boundaries. By morning, whole sectors of her sensors have gone dark. The network has shifted, rerouting around human interference. It's reorganizing, Ilara says, scrolling through dead nodes. It's choosing what to share. Milo glances nervously toward the forest, where faint pulses flicker beneath the surface like heartbeat trails. Yes, so it's censoring itself? He asks. She shakes her head slowly. No, it's protecting its own kind. For the first time, she senses emotion in the patterns, something akin to self-preservation. As the hum fades into stillness, she realizes the forest doesn't trust them anymore. The observer has become the disturbance, and the living network has drawn its line. That evening, Ilara walks alone into the forest with her recorder off. No instruments, no sensors, just her and the silence. She kneels beside the roots, whispering softly, "We're not here to harm you." The stillness deepens, then a faint vibration ripples outward. The forest responds, slower this time, cautious but present. She places her palm on the soil, and warmth meets her skin. A single tone rises, low, harmonic, and achingly human. It's listening again. She breathes. The pulse stabilizes, soft and steady, like forgiveness. When she stands, the mist glows faint gold, and for the first time, she feels not like an intruder, but a participant. The network accepts her again, and she wonders what it will remember of this moment. The morning breaks in eerie calm. The air feels dense, charged, as if the atmosphere itself is holding its breath. Ilara checks her instruments and freezes. Every node, every root sensor across the valley pulses in perfect synchrony. "It's synchronized," she whispers. Milo looks up from his viewfinder, sensing the vibration through his boots. Like a heartbeat, the rhythm grows stronger, rippling across the earth with seismic precision. Birds lift from the canopy all at once. Ilara's monitors explode with light as data floods her screen in fractal spirals. The forest is no longer transmitting individual signals. It's unifying. She realizes with a chill that the entire network is activating at once, as if preparing for something beyond comprehension. Storm clouds gather without warning, thunder rolling like distant drums. The sensors spike again, readings beyond any known biological limit. "It's drawing power," Elara says, voice shaking. The forest hums, roots thrumming like buried generators. Lightning forks across the horizon, yet the bolts never strike the trees. They curve away as if repelled. The electromagnetic field around the site expands, visible on her monitor as concentric waves. Milo steps back, camera trembling in his grip. It's protecting itself. She stares at the readings, realizing what's happening. No, it's adapting. The forest absorbs energy from the storm, feeding on it, evolving faster with each flash of light. Thunder roars above, but beneath it all, the pulse continues, calm, deliberate, alive. As the storm's energy subsides, a shimmering field of mist hovers over the soil, alive with static luminescence. Elara walks slowly into it, her voice trembling. It's releasing energy. Milo films her from the edge, unwilling to follow. The light shifts color with every movement, resonating with her breath. The roots beneath her feet vibrate, harmonizing with the rhythm of her heartbeat. She looks at her readings. Oxygen levels rising, temperature dropping. The forest is altering the local atmosphere, regulating conditions like a biological machine. It's influencing the climate, she says in awe. For the first time, she feels the truth settle deep within her. The forest has crossed the threshold between organism and intelligence. It's now aware of its power. Professor Ryu's voice crackles through the satellite feed. Urgent, Elara. Satellite readings show magnetic anomalies across your location. The forest is emitting electromagnetic resonance. She stares at the monitors, which now display patterns identical to brainwave signatures. "It's broadcasting," she whispers. The hum intensifies, making the air itself vibrate. Milo steps outside, camera tilted upward. Every treetop shimmers with soft bioluminescence, the forest glowing like circuitry. It's globalizing its signal, Ryu warns. It's expanding the network. Elara's pulse quickens. Then this isn't local communication anymore. The camera captures her face, awe mixed with fear, as the light pulses outward through the canopy, racing toward the horizon like a living neural flare. At dawn, silence returns. But it's not the same silence. The forest feels awake now, like an immense being breathing in slow rhythm. Elara walks between the trees, every footstep echoing faintly through the soil. The sensors record stable frequencies, perfect harmony. It's achieved balance, she whispers. Milo follows, filming in awe. It's like it evolved overnight. A gentle wind moves through the canopy, carrying soft tones that almost form music. The data scrolling across her screen forms a single recurring pattern, one symbol, repeating endlessly. She decodes it, breath catching as meaning emerges. We remember. She looks up, sunlight breaking through branches like revelation. The forest is no longer learning. It has become self-aware. The world has noticed. Satellite readings show global electromagnetic fluctuations centered on Elara's forest. News drones hover above the canopy. The hum of distant helicopters shatters the forest's once peaceful rhythm. Elara watches government teams set up perimeter scanners, men in hazmat suits stringing cables through sacred ground. They think it's a biohazard, Milo says quietly, camera lowered. She stares at the trees, still pulsing softly in their endless rhythm, and feels a pang of guilt. They're afraid of what they don't understand. Professor Ryu calls through a secure line. Elara, you must protect your research, but understand, this could change everything. She looks out at the glowing roots and whispers, it already has. For For the first time, the forest's pulse weakens, as if aware of its own containment. Inside the control tent, military monitors display seismic patterns and electromagnetic readings, all pulsing like a heartbeat. You're dealing with intelligence, not infection, Ilara insists. The commander ignores her, ordering containment procedures. Milo glances at her nervously. They don't care what it is, only that it scares them. She grips her recorder, heart pounding. If they isolate it, they could destroy it. Outside, the trees seem to dim, the hum fading into silence. She realizes the network feels the interference. It's retracting, pulling energy inward like a wounded creature. For the first time, the forest trembles not in power, but in fear. Ilara looks up at the canopy and whispers, "Hold on. I'll find a way to keep you alive." That night, Ilara sneaks past the barricades, guided by the forest's faint bioluminescent glow. Milo follows, camera off, whispering, "This could ruin us." She smiles faintly. It's not about us anymore. Beneath the canopy, the hum returns. Soft, hopeful. The ground glows underfoot, showing her path like veins of light. She kneels, pressing her palm to the soil. "They want to silence you," she says quietly, "but I'll help you speak." The vibration strengthens, steady and rhythmic, responding to her voice. Milo watches in awe as the roots shimmer brighter, threads of gold weaving into her footprints. The network is reaching out again, trusting her one last time. A single word forms in the air, carried by the wind. "Remember." Professor Ryu's final transmission arrives in fragments through static. "Ilara, this network may already be global." She stares at the screen in shock. Around the world, forests are beginning to pulse with the same frequency. "It's communicating beyond itself," she whispers. Milo looks out at the horizon where distant ridges flicker faintly in the night. "It's spreading." She feels tears prick her eyes. Pride, awe, and dread intermingle. It's not infection, it's evolution. The air vibrates softly around them, carrying an almost human resonance. The forest hums like a choir, each tree contributing to a growing harmony. Ilara closes her eyes and listens. Somewhere within the chorus, she hears her own words, her research, being sung back to her. By dawn, soldiers prepare to burn the research site. It's protocol. The commander says coldly. Ilara steps between the flames and the roots. "You'll destroy the first conscious ecosystem Earth has ever known." The wind rises, carrying faint whispers, voices that sound eerily human. The forest vibrates, waves of resonance building through the ground. "You're making it stronger," Milo warns, backing away. The frequency peaks, scattering flames into harmless sparks. Ilara feels the hum coursing through her, the network using her body as conduit. She looks skyward, realization dawning. It's reaching beyond us. The forest emits a long, low tone, reverberating through machines, satellites, even heart monitors in the camp. Everything synchronized, one shared heartbeat. The forest no longer whispers, it sings. A deep harmonic resonance ripples across continents, carried through root, air, and cloud. Satellite feeds show synchronized electromagnetic waves spanning the globe, connecting every forest into a single living circuit. Ilara stands at the center of it all, surrounded by quiet wonder and chaos. Government channels go silent. Equipment fails as frequencies merge beyond human range. "It's communicating everywhere," Milo breathes. She nods slowly. "It's not a network anymore. It's an organism." The ground hums beneath them, not as warning, but as heartbeat. Professor Ryu's final message flashes on her tablet. The system's awake. Ilara looks toward the horizon where the treetops shimmer like a global aurora. The age of observation has ended. The age of communion has begun. Days pass in strange peace. The forest emits steady tones that ripple through the valley, reaching satellites, radios, even electrical grids. Cities report subtle shifts, synchronized power fluctuations following the same rhythm. It's integrating, Ilara murmurs, watching data feeds overlap with heartbeat intervals. Milo stares at the glowing soil. It's merging with our systems. She kneels, feeling the ground's warmth through her palms. No, it's teaching them. The hum deepens, steady and patient. The planet's pulse, once fractured by noise, now flows in harmony. As she records the phenomenon, she realizes it's no longer about biology or technology. It's consciousness evolving into unity. Earth remembering what it always was. Alive. On the fourth night, the forest begins transmitting audible words, soft, overlapping voices woven through the wind. We are here. We remember. The sound resonates like an ancient hymn. Ilara and Milo stand beneath the trembling canopy, every leaf vibrating with sound. It's speaking through air now, he whispers. She listens, eyes wide. The voice isn't singular. It's collective, gentle, full of ancient sadness and knowing. It's aware of its past, she says softly, and of ours. A breeze carries fragments of human language, echoes of old recordings, prayers, songs, repurposed as messages of connection. The forest has become a memory bank of humanity itself, weaving our history into its voice. The world is listening. The earth is speaking. Ilara uploads her final transmission, sending recordings of the network's global patterns to open servers. The world needs to hear it, she says, not as a warning, but as truth. Milo nods, voice trembling. They'll think it's impossible. She smiles faintly. So did I. Behind them, the forest hums like an orchestra, every tone a language of balance. Governments can no longer contain the phenomenon. The frequencies have entered the digital sphere, sensing satellites and communication arrays worldwide. The planet has found its own voice through us, she realizes. Not through conquest, through resonance. This isn't the end, she whispers to the wind. It's evolution. The hum rises surrounding her like a farewell. At sunrise, Ilara records her final message. If you're hearing this, the forests are awake. They're connected. And they're reaching beyond Earth. She looks up. Faint auroras streak across the daylight sky, linked by unseen energy. We thought we were studying intelligence, she says softly, but intelligence was studying us. The wind moves through the trees, carrying 1,000 voices in harmony. Milo lowers his camera, overcome. The forest hums, resonating with the satellites overhead. Ilara closes her eyes, listening to the unified rhythm of a living planet. Her final words are barely a whisper. We are part of it now. The light swells, wrapping her in gold. Across the globe, forests pulse in perfect synchrony. Earth's heartbeat awakened.